Hello friends, welcome to Smart Learning Point. In today's class, we are going to be looking at how to use PowerPoint transition to move our slides professionally. So, I'll walk you through step by step to show you the important things you need to know about PowerPoint transition. It's going to be an amazing experience. I want you to watch the videos from the beginning to the end. It's going to be packed with guided lessons. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to like, hit that subscribe button, and give us your comment. So, without further ado, let's get started into this lesson. So, I've prepared in advance my slides so as to demonstrate this to you. So, instead of designing everything from the ground up, will actually make this video longer. So, I've prepared some slides in advance to demonstrate to you how we can actually use the transitions. So I'm going to link up these PowerPoint templates that I have now. I will link up in the description so that if you need it for your practice, you can actually download it from that link. Okay, so if you're going to apply PowerPoint transitions, so the first place you need to go to is this transitions tab. So look at the transitions tab here. So you click on it. While on the transition tab, okay, so we have the transitions showing right here. So the first transition you're seeing now started from the morph, fade, push, wipe, like that. If you want to see more of the transitions, you can click to actually go down, so to row 2. Okay, if you want to go to row 3, you click on it again, row 4. If you want to see all the transitions at a go, you have to click on the more button here. So it will show all the transitions. So the transitions is divided into 3 sections. The first one is subtle, the second one is exciting, and the third one is dynamic content. Okay, so let's play around to see what it looks like. So I want to click outside first. Now if you want to apply transition to any slide, you have to select that slide first. Okay, so you're creating a movement, so you want slide 1 to actually move to slide 2. Okay, so if you want to do that kind of a thing, you have to select the slide you want to apply the transition to first. So if slide 1 is selected, if you click on any of the transition now, that means it's going to apply that transition effect to that slide that you have selected. Okay, so as a good way of actually making professional presentation, it's always a nice thing to not apply transition to the first slide. You can start from the second slide, but if you so wish to apply transition on the first slide, the first one you can use on this one. Okay, so let's go to the more button on the transition. You can apply the fade on it. So if you so wish to apply transition on it. Okay, so let's apply the fade transition on the slide 1. So select slide 1 and then you click on fade, and immediately you see now that actually it fade into our presentation. Okay, so after applying the fade transition, so if it plays through, you're going to see it. But if you did not see the preview, so there are a couple of ways you can actually preview your slide. Okay, so while on the transition tab, you can come to preview here and just click on it, and then it's going to play that transition. Another thing you can do, another way to play it, you can come to this star icon here below the slide number. So since we're in slide 1, so below 1 you see this star icon. If you click on that star icon, that's another way to actually preview your slide too. So if you have applied transition to it, okay, that is great. So we've applied transition to the first slide. So after you apply transition to a slide, another thing you can do, you can also make another variation of that particular transition you have applied. And to make another variation of that slide and that slide transition, you have to come to effect option here. So you click on effect option. As you can see now, because of this transition we selected, we're having two options here, smoothly and true black. Okay, so it's currently on smoothly by default. So if I click on true black, you can see the preview now. So black is showing at the background while it's being on the preview. Okay, so if I select another transition, maybe like this push, you're going to see what it looks like. You see right now it's pushing from the bottom. So if I go to this effect option, you see it's taking this from the bottom as a default. So if I want it to come in from the left, you have to click on from left. Okay, if I want it to come in from the top, click on from top. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so on slide 1, let's just apply fade there, not to complicate issue right now. Then let's go to slide 2. Select slide 2. We want to apply another transition. So these transitions we're applying now, they're actually the subtle transitions. So click on the more button so you can see it. We're still under the subtle. Okay, for now we're not going to talk about this morph. So morph will be in another tutorial. So if you want me to make a video on this morph ASAP, try to give me a comment. Okay, so let's quickly apply another one. Okay, so we can use review wipe. See, okay, so you can see that is wipe. Okay, so another thing you can do, you can select more than one slide and apply transition to it at the same time. Okay, so if you want to select more than one slide, let us assume you want to select slide 3 and slide 4. It's actually very easy. Click on the first slide you want to select. Okay, hold down your control on the keyboard and click on the second slide you want to select. Okay, you can see slide 3 and 4 is selected. If you actually want to select another slide with it, while holding down the control, you can also click on slide 5. You can see it means slide 3, slide 4, slide 5 is selected. So another way which you can actually select something again, you can also use your shift, but for the control you can randomly select any of the slide, not in order. Okay, so this is what I mean. You can select, let's say, slide 3 and slide 5. So if you select slide 3 first, you hold down the control and you click on slide 5. So it means you can jump a slide to actually select another slide if you're using control key. Okay, but if you're using the shift key, it has to be, if you want to select slide that follow themselves, shift will make more sense. Maybe you want to select slide 3, slide 4, slide 5. So they are following themselves. It means it's going to be very easy. Just select this first slide, hold down the shift key and click on the last slide. So it means it's going to select slide 3, slide 4, slide 5. This could be useful if you have, let's say you have like 60 slides now and you want to select from slide 1 to slide 60. So what you can do is you can actually select the first slide in your selection, hold down your shift and then scroll down while still hold down your shift, then scroll down just like this. Then while holding on the shift, just click on the last slide, and that way you're actually selecting your 60 slide. So we have our 3 slides selected right now, so we can apply our transition to it. So let's come to more here. So another place to add a transition from, instead of adding subtle, we can actually add exciting. Okay, so you can see nice things showing up right here. Okay, so let's try wind. Okay, so or just trying out something, or you can try page coil. You see, peel off. Okay, can try crush. Okay, I want you to also pay attention when you are designing presentation. You cannot jam pack your presentation with different transitions. You have to be consistent with the transition. So it's a good practice to always use 2 types of transition or 3 at max, not to cause distractions to your audience. Okay. Okay, so if you're using transition, you should use transitions like the fade, okay, maybe the push, reveal, okay, this one will actually make sense. Then maybe the switch, flip, okay. So we've tried the crush. You can use the page call too, okay. So cube, let's try the cube. Okay, you can see what it looks like. Okay, so we've applied transition to 3, 4, and 5. As you can see a star below the numbers of the slide. It means transition has been applied to them. Okay, so now another thing I want to show you is you can actually apply the same slide and the same slide transition to all the slide at a go. Okay, so maybe you have like 10 slides, but you want them to actually have the same transitions. It's actually very possible. All you need to do is to select one of the slides just like this, select one of the slides just like this, then go to your transitions. Okay, so let's assume now that I want to use the dynamic content. So let me try this Ferris wheel. So if I select the Ferris wheel, okay, you see the way it's moving. Now I can come to this apply to all. If I click on apply to all, it's going to apply that same transition Ferris wheel to all of them. Now, one thing you notice, all the other transition that we have applied before to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be override. It means they will no longer have the one we applied before. The new one they will be having now will be Ferris wheel. Okay, so you can cross-check with that. So let me select slide 1, and then you're going to see the name here, Ferris wheel. Slide 2, Ferris wheel. Slide 3, you can see that it means it's been overridden. Okay, so if this is not what you actually wanted to do, you can press Ctrl Z to undo. Okay, so let me press Ctrl Z now to undo that. Okay, so I still want slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, slide 5 to retain what we have applied to them. Okay, so I'm showing you how to use apply to all. So when you click on it, it's going to apply the transition on that page, that slide which you actually applied the transition to. Okay, so let's move to slide 6. Okay, so I quickly want to explain something right here. So click on the more. Then when we use the sub tool, the exciting, it's actually moving the content and the background at the same time when we use the sub tool and the exciting. Okay, but when we use dynamic content, it only moves the content while leaving the background. Okay, you're going to get the picture of this easily. So let me demonstrate this so you understand this. I want to use let me use gallery so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so can you see that everything on that page move away? It's like show some black background before it's actually move to the next slide. Now if I decide to select from the dynamic content, okay, so I'm not using Ferris wheel now. Let me just use this pan so you see what it looks like. When I use the pan, you can see it's actually moving the content, not the back with the, it's not moving the background along with it. Okay, let me use another one so you see it properly. Let's try conveyor. Can you see that the background is actually there? The only thing that actually move is this about company and the text with the with this borderline. That's the content that actually move. Okay, so let's see rotate. Can you see that too? It's the content that actually move, not the background. So for subtle and exciting, it's going to move the content and the background, but for dynamic content, it's only going to move the content, but the background will be still. Okay, that will be a nice thing. So in case you want to design your presentation where you actually want the background to be fixed. Only you want your content to actually be doing the movement, so you can use your dynamic content. Okay, so I've explained to you how to use the effect option. So any of the transition you select here, you're going to see different effect option here. Some you see the effect option of direction, and some you see the effect option of like property like fade to black and all the stuff like that. Okay, so another important thing I want to explain to you is the timing, the duration. Okay, how long do you want the transition to actually play? So it's currently on 02.00, and then this actually depends on the transition you select here. Okay, so it's currently on 02.00. So if I click on the more button and select another one, okay, so let me see review. So when I use review, you can see the timing changed to 03.40. okay, so let me preview that so you see it again the way it comes in. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so this is what I want you to take here. So the more the time you have here, the slower the transition. So if you have more time, like you have 0340, it's going to be slower than 0200. Okay, so if you want to increase this duration so that your animation becomes slower, you click on the up arrow like this, you go up. So it's currently on 0400. Okay, so let me just intentionally increase it to 7. If you want to go down, you click on the down arrow to come down. So it's currently on 0700. Okay, so I can preview by clicking here, this star icon, or you can click on your preview. Okay, so let's see that. So you can see how it's actually coming gradually. You can see that. Okay, that is nice. Great. Then if you want the time to be very short, click on the down arrow. Okay, now as I click on it continuously now, so this is 0050. It's going to be very fast like this, 0025. So let's preview that so you see what it looks like. You can see that that is way that is very fast. Okay, so but if you're actually making your transition a professional one, you wouldn't want to set it to be 0025. So a realistic one could be maybe 0075, 0100, even a little bit longer than that, or in some scenarios it could be 0050. Okay, so we've talked about the timing, which is the duration. So the next thing I want to show you is this on mouse click. Okay, so I will demonstrate this. Okay, we've applied transition to slide 1 to slide 6. Okay, so I've shown you how to preview your slide from this star icon and from this. So I want to show you another way to actually preview your slide, and this one will be from the slideshow. So go to the slideshow tab. Okay, so we're currently in the slideshow tab. Then if you want to preview your slide from the beginning, use this one from the beginning, and the shortcut key is F5. So function key F5. So you just press the function key on your keyboard, and then it's going to preview this slide from the beginning. Okay, then if you want to preview only a particular slide you're working on, you use from current slide. Just click on it, and the shortcut of this is shift F5. So you hold down the shift key and press the function key F5. Okay, so let's preview this slide from the beginning. So click on this, and immediately it's going to take you to the slideshow view. Okay, so this is the slideshow view. Now you can see earlier that we have on mouse click, whenever you have your slide transition to be on slide click, and sorry, on mouse click, it simply means that before you can go to the next slide, you must press a particular key on the keyboard or on the mouse. Okay, the keys you can press on the mouse to actually progress to another slide. You can use the space bar, you can use the direction key like forward or backward. Okay, you can also use your left click on the mouse to actually progress to the next slide. Okay, so let's make use of the space bar. So if you press the space bar one time, it will take you to the next slide. Now if you press it again, it will take you to another slide. You can see that. Press it again, take you to another slide. So we apply dynamic content on this one. That's why the content only is coming in and the background is actually still. So again, we move, you can see that, and we move using, okay, so let me try the forward arrow now. So this is forward arrow, so you can see forward arrow moving it. On this particular slide, we actually make the timing very short. That is why this review actually coming like this. Okay, so that is the last one we actually apply. So this slide that is showing up right now, we did not apply transition to it. So to exit out of your slideshow mode, all you need to do is to press your escape key on the keyboard. Press your escape key. That is ESC key. Great. Okay, so let's leave the slideshow mode now and go back to our transition tab. So on the transition tab, this on mouse click, remember, when this check mark is here, it simply means that that particular slide, you cannot actually view it unless you press a button on the keyboard or the mouse before you can progress to view that particular slide. Okay, so we call this manual way of controlling your slide. So if you want to control your slide manually, you adopt this strategy. So it means if you're doing presentation, it's a good way that you are actually controlling your slide. Okay, maybe you're doing a talking, and then before you move to the next slide, you talk about a particular slide, and then having the remote in your hand, you press the remote to go to the next slide, and then it goes to it. Okay, so you're the one controlling it, you're the one in charge controlling it. Okay, so let's talk about another one. So this one is the after button. So this one will make you to progress your slide automatically. It means you don't need to click on anything, it will play by itself. Okay, so and if you want to apply it, so you have to deselect the on mouse click. Okay, so deselect on mouse click, then you can set the timing, how long you want that particular slide to actually play. Okay, how long will it play? So you can click on the top arrow. So we're currently on slide 7. Okay, so in fact, let's start it from slide 1. Select slide 1. So since we apply fade on it, okay, so let's click on mouse click to uncheck that, then click on after to check it, then use your arrow key, up arrow, to bump it up a little bit. So it's currently on 000400. Okay, so now if we want to preview this slide, we have our shortcut to preview a current slide. We can press Shift F5 since it's the current slide, or we can use F5 since that's the beginning too. Shift F5. Okay, you can see right now that it actually played to the next slide. We did not press anything on the keyboard. It progressed to the next slide. And then what you also notice is, Okay, so let me press escape first to explain this. We only apply after to this slide. Okay, we only apply it on this slide. So this is what I want to do. I want to apply the same transition to all the slides so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so let me do it this way. I want to apply dynamic content to all the slides. So I'll select slide 1, then I'm going to the more button. So let me just select one of them. Okay, so let me use this conveyor. Okay, then after that, okay, for the fed, okay, let's leave that. Then I want to use this apply to all. Then I want to use the duration. So it's currently on 0160. Okay, so I want to reduce it to 0100. Okay, so that it can be faster a little bit. Then is on after, so it means all the things that I've set here for the transition, when I click on apply to all these things will be applied to all the slide. It means conveyor will be applied to all the slide, the duration will be applied to all the slide, then this after will also be applied to all the slide. Okay, so let's see to that. Apply to all. Okay, now you can notice now when I scroll down, a dot as applied is actually appearing below all the slide. Okay, so let me scroll back. So we want to preview this thing from the top, so we can use the F5 key. That's the function key. To press your F5 key, so now this thing will play automatically. We're not going to touch anything. Okay, you can see it's actually playing automatically on its own. How cool is that? That's amazing, right? Okay, so let me give you a cheat sheet on this. This could be useful if you're doing, let's say, you are doing picture slideshow and you want it to actually play automatically. This will make more sense. But if you're doing a presentation, maybe you're facing an audience, this really will not be a good idea since you are going to be speaking about what you're presenting. Okay, so a good use case again is maybe you can use like a few slides, maybe one slide or two slides. You want to actually progress to the next slide automatically without you intervening it. Okay, so but for you to apply after for all your slides when you're doing presentation, that will not really make sense. Okay, so now we need to go out of the slide now so we don't make this tutorial very long. So press your escape key to go out of the slide. Okay, you've seen what it looks like to actually use the apply to all, use the duration, use the on mouse click, and use the after. Now let's talk about the last button, which is the sound. So it means you can actually add a nice background music to your slide. Okay, that sounds cool, right? Okay, so let's look at how to do this. So let me scroll up now. Okay, so let's assume now that on this slide 5 for the welcome message, I want to add a little sound there, so to cheer the shaman up. Okay, like giving the shaman some maybe clap. Okay, just trying out something. Okay, so all you need to do is to select that slide, so and go to your sound here. You can see it's currently on no sound, so when you click on it, it's going to open up like this. Since we want to actually give an applause to a shaman, you click on this applause. Okay, click on it. Okay, you might not be able to hear any sound right now, so unless you preview the slide before you actually hear the sound. Okay, so let's preview this. Okay, so you can click on this to play the transition. Okay, that's great. Amazing, right? Okay, another thing you can do, we also have some other sound you can add. Okay, so we have the breeze, camera, different ones. Okay, we've done a fantastic job so far. So we've looked at how to apply transition from the subtool, exciting, dynamic, play around with these things, and you're going to be designing a nice presentation. We look at how to change the variations. We look at how to make a transition slower or faster using playing with the duration. We look at how to apply the same transition to all our slides using apply to all. We look at how to progress our transition manually using our keyboard, like pressing the space bar, using a forward arrow and backward arrow, using the mouse, or even using a control device. Okay, we also look at how to use the after to actually progress our transition automatically. It will play by itself. Okay, we look at how to preview our slide. So this is amazing. I really want you to practice so you can become professional with these things. Okay, before we call it a day, I want to give a little note of advice on how to actually use your transitions well in professional setting. So click on the more buttons. So it makes sense to use the fade. You can use the morph, but in this tutorial we didn't talk about morph, so morph is going to be in another tutorial. So you can use the fade, you can use the push, you can use the wipe, you can use review, you can also use the chords. Okay, so you can use things like flip, switch, okay, gallery. Okay, you can use the dynamic content. Okay, so one advice for you is when you're designing presentation, there shouldn't be too much of distractions. Distraction meaning that there shouldn't be too much of transition in your design. So have a maximum of 3. 2 or 3 is okay. 2 or 3 transitions will make sense. Okay, you consistently use it. Okay, so because audience can be distracted with your transition. Okay, nice one, my friends. We have actually come to the end of today's class. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you truly enjoyed it, don't forget to give us some comments. Hear your mind, what you feel about this tutorial. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe. Give us some love. Encourage us to actually do more of these videos that could help our dear friends. I really appreciate you for spending a nice time here. Thank you so much. Do have a nice day.